what's the difference between studying and learning something? Studying something has to deal with memorization, expecting to be assessed on that information. Learning, however, is receiving information and interpreting that information for your own good, for your own self. So, hence the definitions, it seems more easier to receive and reciprocate information that you have interpreted from, and it's easier for you to actually understand and be knowledgeable in those areas. Whereas studying is, it's not really for your own good. I mean, it can definitely be used to your own good, but expect an assessment from that, and also that pressure that if I don't understand or I don't study properly, then the things that I'm going to be assessed on, I'm not going to know because I didn't study the material properly. So, in a lot of cases, we do overcomplicate studying, and there are ways to work on those weaknesses that we may have. Like me personally, I enjoy learning better than I enjoy studying, because learning, nobody's forcing me to do anything. That's my own terms. So I'm more inclined to understand whatever information I'm receiving better. And so studying, what I do is, instead of trying to buckle down and take all the information all at once, I break it down into chunks because that helps me a lot. So in the span of say I'm studying for an exam, and say I plan on studying for 2 hours straight, just study. What I would do is, instead of studying all the chapters that I have to study for 2 hours straight, I break it down to sections. So for 5 to 7 minutes or 5 to 8 minutes, I study a certain section, and then I take a 5 minute break. I come back, I move on to the other section, and then I review from where I started all the way to that section. Take another break. I do that continuously until I reach the 2 hour mark. Once I reach the 2 hour mark, I would have completed 10 times more assignments, or 10 times more material, or covered it 10 times more material than if I would have just sat there and studied for 2 hours straight, barely, not even getting to half of what I would have covered. So that's just one of many ways to really understand and to study and to work on study habits. So now for learning, all I can tell you is that if you enjoy something and you enjoy receiving information about something, then no one really can tell you how to learn that. That's just because you already know. You're already more inclined to understand that material. So you know that you're not going to have any issues with memorizing or understanding what you're learning about. So learning oftentimes, or I would say studying oftentimes, is misinterpreted with knowledge. So just because you study something doesn't mean you're knowledgeable in that area. It just means that you've memorized that enough to where if someone were to assess you, you would be able to reciprocate that. Whereas learning, you're actually understanding and being knowledgeable in that topic. So when you're knowledgeable in that topic, not only can you reciprocate that information, but you can now even go more in depth. You can maybe say, for example, and put real life examples and actually put into demonstrations. So if you can, it's like explaining it to, and learning, however, also helps you just explaining it to different kinds of people. So you don't have to, reciprocate something to someone who has the same, knowledgeable aspects of you. You can say it to a 5-year-old and they can understand it, because since you learned it, you understand how to, I would say, how to make it rudimentary to them, to where even a 5-year-old can understand just about what you're talking about. That's the difference between learning and studying. If you study something and you try to say it to a 5-year-old, they're not going to know what you're talking about because you only studied it. You only used it for memorization. You're just repeating what you looked at in the book or what you looked at on the piece of paper. Whereas learning something, you're not only repeating what you looked at on the piece of paper, but you're using real world examples to help that 5-year-old understand what exactly you're talking about.